Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here. We are back with another video. Now, in this video, guys, we shall be doing a NFL mock draft. Now, here is going to be my first and only 32 NFL team mock draft with trades involved. And I just gotta say this. There may be some interesting picks for me that happens during this thing, but we'll just have to see when it comes to this. But with the first pick on the 2022 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be selecting Aidan Hutchison, edge out of Michigan. Now, this just seems like the most likely pick because Aidan Hutchison is probably the number one guy in the NFL. And considering that Kayvon Thibodeaux right here, he was originally supposed to be the number one draft pick even before the mid-season, but ever since the end of the season and since then, Aidan Hutchison has been the number one pick. Could have been Evan Neal, could have been Travon Walker, could have been Kayvon Thibodeaux to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but we had decided to go with Aidan Hutchison here at number one. At number two on the board, Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to be going next, straight to the Detroit Lions. Now, if the Detroit Lions really wanted something, they would probably want the SWIP because they would want to keep the Michigan boy in Michigan. But unfortunately for them, they are not able to do that here. And next up on the board, we have the Houston Texans. I almost said Tennessee Titans. And the Houston Texans, instead of that, they could go edge right here. But I'm going to have them select Evan Neal going alongside, who's the tackle that they have? Oh, I forgot the other tackle that they have. The one they got from the Dolphins. But they're going to go Evan Neal at pick number 3, take a tackle on the board. Because later on, in I think around pick 13, they'll be able to get probably like a defensive position. But right now, helping off on the offense and helping out Davis Mills on the offense. Now, here we have the New York Jets. The New York Jets will be selecting wide receiver Garrett Wilson, taking him. Garrett Wilson is the number one wide receiver in the draft this year. I think there's also a good consideration George Pickens if George Pickens didn't get injured during the midseason. But right now, Garrett Wilson just seems to be the number one overall wide receiver in the draft. So instead of the Jets possibly even going for tackle, because they could still possibly get a defensive player now, considering they could probably get like Kyle Hamilton or something down the board. But for right now, Garrett Wilson. And that would free up the New York Football Giants to go on and select Travon Walker at the number 5 position. They need help on the edge position. Apparently, they've been rumored to be trading, what's his name? Kadarius Toney, the first-round draft pick that they got from last year. And so they're rumored to be trading him. I don't really know how honest that really is or how truthful that story is, but it's easy to see this. Travon Walker has been going up the board. He impressed during his pro day. He impressed during the combine. So he's definitely going to be a very good pick when it comes to this. I wish he would stay on the board for the Falcons number 8, but I highly doubt he's going to be here at number 8 in the actual NFL draft when it comes to this Thursday. So now we have Travon Walker here, and then we have the Carolina Panthers now on the clock. Carolina is really, really desperate. And they're going to go and select Malik Willis, quarterback out of Liberty. The Panthers are really, really desperate. They're very desperate. This front office and this offensive coach and the coach for the Panthers are really, really desperate. So they're going to try and take on anything. They're going to take Malik Willis. They're going to take a shot on the Liberty quarterback at number 6 and try and see if that can save them their job this year, because if the Panthers don't have a good record this year, or if they don't make the playoffs this year, then that coach could be gone. Back to the Giants on the board. Ikem Ekwonu is still here. The Giants will get him at number 7, right before the Falcons would probably act. I think the Falcons actually probably have a good option taking him here. But yeah, Ikem Ekwonu shores up the offensive line, helps him out. And I think the New York Giants would be able to get a very decent wide receiver to replace Kadarius Toney if they end up trading him in the next round. But now we have our first big trade. We have the Minnesota Vikings trading with the Atlanta Falcons, moving up 4 spots. Which means the Minnesota Vikings would be sending their pick number 12 and for pick number 8, and they also be giving the Falcons a 5th round pick for this year, and that would be the trade, and we're going to make the trade right here. And now the Minnesota Vikings are on the board at number 8, and they're going to be selecting Ahmed Garner from Cincinnati. They need help at the defensive back position. This is going to help them out. Ahmed Garner is definitely the best cornerback in terms of this draft, and he's going to help the Minnesota Vikings on that defense. Right before the Seattle Seahawks go on and select Charles Cross, offensive tackle out of Mississippi State, and that would leave the Jets for either Kyle Hamilton, Derek Stingley Jr., or Jermaine Johnson. I'm going to have the Jets go Kyle Hamilton. I know Kyle Hamilton doesn't seem like he's going to be a very well-received player in the NFL, but they really need somebody to try and help replace Jamal Adams after they traded Jamal Adams last season to the Seattle Seahawks, who actually picked before them. This was actually originally the 10th pick is supposed to be Seattle's pick, so Seattle picked right ahead of what would have been the original pick. But now Washington football team is here, and they shall be selecting Drake London, wide receiver out of USC. They need another wide receiver to help out with Terry McLaurin and help out Carson Wentz. So we decided to get them one of the best wide receivers in terms of this draft, and they're going to be going Drake London out of USC. Now the Falcons are back on the board, and the Falcons can either go Jermaine Johnson at number 12 or Jameson Williams. And considering that Calvin Ridley is going to be suspended, I'm going to have the Falcons take Jameson Williams at pick number 12, getting that number 1 wide receiver, and they could still get a very good edge position in terms of the draft later on in the second round. Now the Houston Texans, they select their guy. They're going to go Jermaine Johnson at pick number 13, get their defensive end position, and they'll definitely have help. And look who's still on the board. Derek Stingley Jr. Will he go to the Baltimore Ravens? No, he won't. Jordan Davis goes to the Baltimore Ravens, helps that defensive line position, because I think it's, I forgot his name, the guy that's 35 years old, Calais Campbell. He's not going to be that much older, and they're still going to need help on the defensive line, so we're going to have Jordan Davis go to the Baltimore Ravens and help that defensive line, which means the Philadelphia Eagles at pick number 15 would be able to select Derek Stingley Jr. after Derek Stingley Jr. has fallen off the board. Now, freshman Derek Stingley Jr. was a pretty good player, but ever since then, he's really gone downhill. But hey, if the Eagles were to get this and Derek Stingley were to fall to 15 at the Eagles would be loving that. Number 16, Chris Olave, Ohio State wide receiver, to a team that loves Ohio State wide receivers. Currently, Michael Thomas is there. And why not pair him up with another Ohio State wide receiver and a guy that can eventually replace him in Chris Olave, who's a pretty good wide receiver, but we'll have to see when it comes to that. Moving on to pick number 17, we have the Los Angeles Chargers, and they're probably going to go Trevor Penning protect, what's his name, the quarterback, Justin Herbert, even though now this year that division is going to be just very interesting division because he got Russell Wilson with the Broncos, you got Derek Carr with the Raiders, you got Patrick Mahomes, and then you got the Chargers here or trying to protect Justin Herbert. I couldn't speak there for a minute. So yeah, they're trying to protect Justin Herbert, and now they'll be able to get a tackle to help replace them and help protect him in the future. Now the Eagles are back on the clock, and they're going to go Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. They need help at the linebacker position, even though they did just get Kazir White, but I still think they're going to need help eventually for the future, so I had them going Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. The Saints are on the board here. What do the Saints need? let's take a look at what the Saints need. The Saints need a quarterback and they need an offensive tackle. Kenny Pickett's here. But the thing is, I don't know where the Saints go with this, because they don't really need. Do they really need help on the edge position? No, I just wonder, least. I don't really know where the Saints go with this. Do they go offensive line and they go Tyler Linderbaum to help replace? They really need a tackle, to be honest. I don't really know where to go. They could go defensive line and go Devontae Wyatt, but I feel like you know what? They're going to go Devontae Wyatt. They're going to go Devontae Wyatt, fix up that defensive line position at the front of the defensive line. And this leads the Pittsburgh Steelers to select Kenny Pickett, keep him in Pittsburgh, keep him around the same area he's going to be familiar with, and he's going to be the future quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Leaving the New England Patriots to go a cornerback, and they're going to select Trent McDuffie, cornerback out of Washington, the first of the two cornerbacks out of Washington that are going to possibly going in the first round. Trent McDuffie is definitely the better one, but now the interesting team, the Green Bay Packers. Pick number 22. Wide receivers right here on the board. We're going to have them take Treylon Burks. They traded Devontae Adams. This year, they definitely need to go wide receiver. They have 2 first-round picks in the NFL draft this year, and they just have to go with a wide receiver now. And this would leave the Arizona Cardinals, who really need help at cornerback and edge position. So we're going to have them take George Karlaftis, help out with the defensive end position, and that's just going to help them when it comes to that. So leaving the Dallas Cowboys to go Tyler Linderbaum and help protect their big money quarterback in Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott deserved to get that contract, but they get that contract. Buffalo Bills, pick number 25, they're going to go Andrew Booth Jr. They need somebody to help out with Tre'Davious White, and they don't really have a second best cornerback position when it comes to their team. So they're going to add Andrew Booth here, and this would leave the Tennessee Titans, who could possibly shockingly draft a quarterback. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to help the linebacker position. They just lost Rashad Evans to the Falcons, so they're going to end up picking up Nkobe Dean at the linebacker position, leaving the Buccaneers to help out the offensive line and help protect Tom Brady for this year, and Zion Johnson out of Boston College. So we've gone through 27 picks in I think this video has been about 12 minutes now. Now we can really consider what the Green Bay Packers should do. So, Mr. Green Bay Packers, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, what do the Packers need? They need edge, defensive line, linebacker, offensive tackle, offensive line. Let's look at the edge positions. They got David Ojabo. Defensive line positions, they got Logan Hall, but that guy seems like he can possibly be a first round, but I think he's going to be a second rounder. I'm going to have them go at pick number 28. I'm going to have them go David Ojabo, edge out of Michigan, the guy who I think tore his ACL. It was either his ACL or it was Achilles, but he ended up tearing that, so I really hope he gets a quick recovery and a fast recovery and a healthy recovery. But yeah, he's going to be going to the Packers, helping on the defensive position. And now back-to-back picks with the Kansas City Chiefs. I already know where I'm going with this. They're going to end up taking Daxton Hill out of Michigan and then Jahan Dotson out of Penn State. Daxton Hill helps replace Honey Badger, which is Tyrann Mathieu, and then Jahan Dotson gives them the speed to replace Tyreek Hill after they traded Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins. The Cincinnati Bengals offensive line has to be the thing now. They have to protect Joe Burrow. They're going to go Kenyon Green, offensive lineman from Texas A&M. And with the final pick in the 2022 NFL Draft in the first round, we are going to have the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, whose first pick was an edge position. Where are they? They're right here. They either need a quarterback or they need offensive line, or they need safety. We're in the final pick of the 2022 first round NFL draft, mock draft. we're going to have them go Matt Corral out of Mississippi, and that will be the end of the draft. Let's go back and take a look at all our picks throughout the first round. And now, don't mind, Aidan Hutchison at number 1, Kayvon Thibodeaux at number 2, Evan Neal number 3, Garrett Wilson surprise one number 4, Travon Walker number 5, Malik Willis number 6, Egan McCoy at 7, Ahmed Garner coming through the Vikings with the trade, Charles Cross at number 9, Kyle Hamilton at number 10, Drake London at 11, Falcons trading back ends, getting Jameson Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Jordan Davis, Derek Stingley Jr. fitting perfectly for the Philadelphia Eagles, Chris Olave helps trying to replace Michael Thomas at the Saints, Trevor Penning, Devin Lloyd, Devontae Wyatt, Kenny Pickett stays in Pittsburgh, heads to Pittsburgh. Steelers, Trent McDuffie, Treylon Burks gets to replace Devontae Adams, or try to replace Devontae Adams, George Karlaftis, the Cardinals, Linderbaum, Cowboys, Booth to the Bills, Dean to the Tennessee Titans, Zion Johnson helping protect Tom Brady at 27, David Ojabo to the Packers, Daxton Hill, Jahan Dotson to the Chiefs, Kenyon Green to the Bengals, and Matt Corral to the Detroit Lions. But without further ado, that is it for today's video. I will see you guys all later, and make sure you guys check out the previous video uploaded today talking about the game preview for the Atlanta United versus Inter Miami game that will be happening tomorrow. I will see you guys all later. Peace.